On a juvenile delinquent in the offseason in his major league debut. Into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
The Parlay Pounder.
You got it.
And, you know, we got to finish strong.
Yeah.
And we're getting into the summer here. We got to talk baseball.
The dog days of summer.
Yeah, we got to talk futures. We're going to talk about some teams that are making some noise.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're having a lot of fun with it, and a lot of people are pouring in money, especially on those daily bets.
For sure.
We got to get in on the action. We are Where's the Line?
Where's the line?
Let's start with the American AL East.
Yeah.
Man, so much noise, so many good teams. The Rays lead the division right now. I don't think anyone's overly surprised. Even during our preview show, during the opening day, we were saying, look, don't sleep on Tampa Bay. Don't sleep on the Rays. They are sitting there at 32-12, a .727 winning percentage, 19-3 at home.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But even more unbelievable than that, who's in second place?
Yeah, the Baltimore Orioles, Andy, like you said. But what I really want to, like, everybody thought Baltimore would be one of the worst teams in baseball.
Yeah.
But this AL East is just so crazy, Andy. The last place team, the Boston Red Sox, right now would be tied for first place in the American League Central, tied with the Minnesota Twins at a 24-20 record. That is unheard of, to have the last place team in your division to be 4 games above 500.
Yeah. Yep.
Just to let you know, check out the division just by itself. The AL East is way above everybody else, 93-48. That's a .660 winning percentage.
Wow.
The second closest, Andy, is the NL West with a 69-64 record, just 5 games over 500.
Yeah.
The AL East are world beaters. They're going to have and with the way I kind of wanted to shape this, Andy, is with the new format of the playoffs, Andy, that expanded. You know, one of the more consequential rule changes this year is expanded the playoff system, which will now feature 12 teams, 6 from each leagues instead of just 10 in years past. You will have the 3 division winners from the AL and NL, and then 3 wild cards from each league as well. So the way that it's sitting right now,
see 4 easily.
Obviously, the Rays are winning the division, but you look at that wild card race. Baltimore Orioles +4 games, Toronto Blue Jays +1, and then the New York Yankees are sitting right there. So that is crazy that they could get 4 teams in the playoffs, Andy, in one division.
The Yankees are 5 games above 500, 25-20.
Yeah.
And they're 7.5 games back in the division.
They're
7.5 games back in the division. And like we said last week, it's not early anymore. I mean, you're starting to see these schedules kind of pile up. We're at 50 games in. 45 games into the season here. So, like,
these are the teams.
It's taking shape.
This is how it's going to be. These are the rotations that, are going to be there for the majority of the year. I'm sitting there looking at the Yankees right now to make the playoffs as a -270. To not make the playoffs is a +220.
Ooh,
I mean, obviously, you got to think that the Yankees are going to be at the top of the division at the end here, probably behind the Rays, but I do believe that they get past the Blue Jays and the Orioles. Kind of a weird bet right now, Andy. For the Baltimore Orioles, it's a plus money bet for them to make the playoffs right now. They're in second place, and it's a +30 bet for them to make the playoffs. That means that people do not think that this is going to happen. It's a -155 bet to not make the playoffs. So those are 2 of the bets I really wanted to talk about with the American League, that nobody still believes in the Baltimore Orioles, and that people are really still hammering the Yankees because they're the Yankees.
Yeah, well, and they are the Yankees, and I don't even need a crystal ball to see what's going to happen here to your Twins.
Yeah,
they're going to get squared up with the Yankees in round 1.
Yes,
that's how this is. That's what's going to happen. And oh my God, I feel so bad for the Twins because for whatever reasons, you just can't beat the damn Yankees.
We can't win a playoff game, and it's because we get matched up with the Yankees every time. But no, the Yankees are going to come in with a wild card spot, having to play the last division winner. and that will be the Minnesota Twins. So, the crystal ball here is not looking good for the Minnesota Twins, even though that they're probably going to win their division.
They're looking good.
They're going to have to play one of these AL East teams in a wild card weekend matchup. But what is good, Andy, is that the wild card now is not just a one-game, you're done.
Yeah.
So it is a 3-game series, which is just a lot better for baseball in general. It's not you can throw out your best pitcher and then bring your next best pitcher and then your next best pitcher in one game.
Right.
You have to do it strategically. There could be 3 games, so you got to play your ace, but you got to have somebody in game 2 and game 3 to pick up the slack if you do not win that game. So I really like the format that's going.
Yeah, I do. It's more true baseball.
It's more true baseball because that one-game wild card, I can't tell you how many heartbreaks I had with the Twins.
You're talking to an Oakland Athletics fan.
Exactly.
I mean, I get it. I think the last time that I felt good about Oakland getting into the playoffs, and they had to win that one game.
They had to.
They started with their closer.
Right.
I mean, it was unbelievable because they were like, well, how do we do this?
How do we do this? We don't know.
It was what a train wreck. And then that AL Central, you touched on it. We think the Twins are going to win it. The next best team is Detroit, 3.5 games back, and they're 3 games under. 3 games under 500.
Yeah, Andy. The AL Central is the worst division in baseball. It's looking really bad. But, the Minnesota Twins are the only team in this division with a plus run differential right now at a plus 42. The next best is, like you said, the Detroit Tigers with a minus 48 run differential.
Wow. What is
that is
going
so
on?
bad. And like we said last week, Kansas City Royals, they're just playing for that park downtown. They just want to move. They have 14 wins, 31 losses. Those are going to keep stacking up. So,
to your point, team futures overall to be the World Series champions.
Yeah.
Okay, Atlanta Braves are in the top spot there, deservedly so at plus 500. But you got the Rays right behind them at plus 600.
For sure.
You have 3 teams out of the AL East ahead of the Twins.
No doubt.
You have the Yankees, Blue Jays, and of course the Tampa Bay Rays, all listed with better odds than the Twins at plus 1,400, 14-1.
For sure.
Just to kind of
and
flex
that's
AL
just
East.
the way you got to look at it right now. The Minnesota Twins they're slated as one of the easiest schedules in baseball, obviously playing a lot of the Central, but not as much anymore with the way that the new schedule shakes out.
Right.
You have to play every team at least once, so it is really...
You're picking up some wins against my Oakland Athletics.
Exactly.
That's what's going on here.
It's really fun to see that AL East really play against every other division and still come up with that kind of win percentage. So
beating the crud out of them.
That is pretty crazy.
Hey, my Oakland Athletics have won 10 games now.
Boom.
So there we go.
Yeah.
They are 10-35 at the time of this recording. I feel so good about them.
Only 17 games back.
And then here in a year or two, I think next year we're going to play ball at the AAA affiliate in Las Vegas.
Perfect.
They're pulling way better numbers attendance-wise
no doubt.
than the home crowds in Oakland. It's just such a sad situation there. Do we want to move on to the National League?
Yeah, let's just touch on a couple teams that I want to talk about, Andy, and that would be, first up, the San Diego Padres. Now, they're kind of back in the pack right now in that, star-studded NL West with the Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Giants sitting in 4th place with a 20-24 record. Obviously, this team is underperforming with the amount of swag and,
Or 2-8 their last 10. 2-8 the last 10. Look at the,
Yeah, so if you look past the division, Andy, and head into that wild card like we were talking about, they are only 2.5 games back of that wild card. So everybody needs to get out of the Dodgers are 10 games up on them. That doesn't matter per
se. Not as much
anymore.
Yep.
So where I'm looking, Andy, with the future bettings for them to make the playoffs is at a minus 215. So a lot of people want them to make the playoffs or think that they're a shoo-in. For people that think that they are kind of,
they're
over
a half game behind the Giants, and everyone's talking trash on the Giants, and they're not impressing anybody.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know, man.
The San Diego Padres not to make the playoffs is at a plus 180 right now. I think it's a pretty good bet. I think it's a pretty good bet just because I think it's going to shake out a little more. They have to play the Dodgers a lot more. Mm-hmm. So I think I really don't know if I see the Padres making the playoffs this year.
Something's gotten into the Diamondbacks. What are they? They're 3 games back, but with the 25-19 record,
correct.
Pretty good. 6-4 last 10.
Yeah.
Man, and the Padres are just disappointing.
Yeah.
They got their guy back.
Tatis, Fernando Tatis Jr.
And he was on fire, hit a couple home runs right
Yeah.
away, and they just have cooled off. And I got some of those pitchers on my fantasy team, and what's going on?
They are cooling. One that I really want to throw in there, Andy, is a team that everybody is split on right now, and that is the reigning National League champion, the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yep, the Phillies.
Right now, to make the playoffs, it's a split bet right down the middle at -110 bet on DraftKings. I really think that this team has what it takes to bring it home in the stretch, especially to get a wild card spot, Andy.
They're 4th in the division, but I get it. They're only 6.5 games back.
And they're only 2 games back in the wild card. Bryce Harper just got healthy. He's probably a top 5 player in Major League Baseball.
Healthy enough to get in some fights.
Exactly. He's an MVP candidate that they get back. He's literally the heart and soul of the team. He is the heartbeat of the team. So I really see these guys making a run, maybe even at the division, but for sure I think they will be at the top of the National League wild card. So right now at a -110 bet, I think it's a steal for the Philadelphia Phillies to make the playoffs.
Like you said, once you look twice at the standings, you realize they're only a couple games back for second place in their division, and third place, and that it doesn't matter as much with the way this is formatted.
Exactly.
The new playoffs format. It's not just a flip a coin, one game type of scenario.
No, it's the better team at the end is still going to have the advantage, Andy, because the better record gets to host these games.
Yep.
But if you make it to one of these top 3 playoff, wild card spots, you have as good a chance as anyone of taking down that crown. So I really like the Philadelphia Phillies. I am cooling a lot on the San Diego Padres.
I'm cooling, and I'm also cooling on the NL Central.
For sure.
I think the Pirates are going to start to fade here. I think the Brewers are going to take over and flex, leaving more room for the Phillies to make a run here coming out of the NL East.
I like it.
You got the Braves, the Marlins. There's the buzzer. That means we're up against it, but we got the Braves, Marlins, Mets, and Phillies all coming out of the East, looking good, looking strong. Brewers in the Central, kind of like we're thinking Twins out of the AL Central.
The NL Central and the AL Central mirror each other.
They kind of do. Like, what is going on here?
Yes.
Well, you heard the horn. That means we're up against it. That'll about do it for us this week.
Yeah.
Be sure to follow us on ESPN Tri-Cities Radio, Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. That is growing. I don't want to say it's expanding faster than the universe, but it's growing. It's getting
right
big.
there. It's right there, Andy.
It's right there. We also got those daily free picks over on TikTok. For Jabron, the Parlay Pounder, I'm Andy Klassen. Thank you for listening. This has been WTF.